It is late afternoon in your yard. The sun is low on the fence. The feeder still has black oil sunflower seeds in the tray, but the chickadee does not land the way it usually does. A cardinal drops to the lilac, looks toward the feeder, then lifts away before touching it. A house finch sits puffed and quiet on the shepherd's hook. Under the feeder, a few old shells are stuck in the damp grass. The birdbath looks full from the kitchen window, but the surface is cloudy when the light hits it. Most people see this and think the birds are being picky. They think the food is fine, the water is fine, and the birds will come back when they feel like it. They're wrong. What's actually happening is far more specific. Your birds are reading your yard for danger. And some of the danger may be coming from the very things you put out to help them. Today, you'll learn what your birds are begging you to stop doing: the feeder habits, water mistakes, noise patterns, and placement choices that quietly change whether they survive. Welcome back to Feather in Mind. Subscribe before you leave. What you're about to learn will change the way you fill your feeder. Stay until the end, because the final mistake looks like love, and it's the one most people never get told. Number 1. Stop letting the feeder become a disease table. The feeder is not just a food station. It is a meeting place for beaks, feet, feathers, droppings, saliva, and stress. The Cornell Lab of Ornithology and Project Feeder Watch have warned for years that crowded feeders can help spread illnesses among backyard birds, especially when seed hulls, feces, moisture, and old food collect in the same small space. House finches, goldfinches, pine siskins, and evening grosbeaks can all be vulnerable when sick birds return to the same feeding surface again and again. The mechanism is simple. Birds do not eat politely. They land, hop, scratch, wipe their beaks, and toss seed. A sick finch with crusted eyes may touch the same perch that a healthy finch uses 1 minute later. Damp seed can mold. Old hull piles can hold bacteria. A bird that came for help can leave with a problem it did not bring. What this means for your yard is this: if you love feeding them, cleaning is not extra. Cleaning is part of feeding. Number 2, stop leaving wet seed in the tray. Wet seed is not harmless. It changes quickly. The National Wildlife Health Center and major bird conservation groups recommend removing spoiled food because moisture turns a feeder from a source of calories into a biological risk. Rain, snowmelt, sprinkler spray, and morning dew can all soak seed before you notice it. From your window, the feeder may still look full. To a bird, it may smell wrong, feel wrong, and signal trouble. A bird's survival depends on fast decisions. A chickadee weighs almost nothing. A bad food choice costs energy, time, and sometimes health. When seed clumps, darkens, or smells sour, birds may avoid it. If hunger is strong enough, some will still eat it. That is the dangerous part. A desperate bird does not always make a safe choice. For the birds outside your window, this means a full feeder is not always a kind feeder. A smaller amount of fresh seed is safer than a large amount left to sit through damp weather. Number 3. Stop putting feeders where fear has no escape route. Your birds are not only asking, "Is there food?" They are asking, "Can I get away?" The Cornell Lab has long described cover as one of the key features birds use when choosing safe feeding areas. Shrubs, small trees, brush piles, and nearby branches give birds a place to flee when a hawk passes, a cat appears, or a door opens suddenly. Feeder placement changes how exposed your birds feel. The mechanism is called risk assessment. A cardinal will often pause before flying down. A chickadee may land on a branch, scan, then make one quick trip to the feeder. A mourning dove may stay longer because it feeds slowly on the ground. Each bird is calculating danger differently. When the feeder sits in the middle of open lawn, every second at the seed becomes a gamble. What this means for your yard is this: your feeder should not feel like a stage. It should feel like a doorway open enough to see, close enough to shelter. Number 4, stop placing feeders in the window danger zone. Glass is invisible to birds in a way it is not invisible to you. Bird conservation researchers have documented that window collisions kill enormous numbers of birds every year in North America. The problem is not that birds are careless. The problem is that glass reflects trees, sky, and open flight paths. A bird fleeing your feeder may see a maple reflected in the window and aim for what looks like safety. The distance matters. When a feeder is placed very close to a window, a startled bird often cannot build enough speed for a deadly collision. When it is far enough away, it may recognize the house as an obstacle. The most dangerous middle zone is where a bird can launch, accelerate, and hit glass hard before it understands what happened. For your birds, this means the pretty view from your kitchen window may not be the safest view for them. Window decals, external screens, cords, or better feeder placement can turn a beautiful feeding station into a safer one. Number 5. Stop being unpredictable around the feeder. Your birds know more about your routine than you think. At the University of Washington, John Marsloff and his colleagues showed that American crows can recognize individual human faces and remember which people have been dangerous. Other work published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found that crows can use visual memory, attention, and emotional response when deciding how to react to a human face. The mechanism is not magic. It is pattern learning. Birds notice when you come outside. They notice whether your hand carries seed or a broom. They notice whether you walk slowly or burst through the door. They notice whether your dog follows. To a small bird, your routine becomes part of the yard's weather. What this means for your yard is this: your birds are not just reacting to humans. They are reacting to you. A calm pattern teaches safety. Sudden changes teach caution. Number 6. Stop filling the yard with noise and motion when birds are trying to listen. A quiet yard is not empty. It is full of information. Research on anthropogenic noise has shown that human-made sound can interfere with bird communication, foraging, territory defense, and predator awareness. Birds use calls, alarm notes, wing sounds, rustling leaves, and the silence between sounds. Your yard is an acoustic map, and your birds are reading it all day. A leaf blower, loud music, shouting near the feeder, or constant outdoor machine noise does more than annoy them. It can cover the tiny warnings they rely on. A chickadee alarm call may tell every bird nearby that a hawk is moving through. A robin's sudden silence may signal a cat in the hedge. When your yard is too loud, the warning system becomes harder to hear. For the birds outside your window, this means peace is not a luxury. Peace is habitat. The quieter you make the feeder area, the more your birds can use their own intelligence to stay alive. Number 7. Stop thinking your good intentions are enough. This is the hardest one, because it comes from love. You filled the feeder because you wanted them close. You put out water because you cared. You kept the suet cage full in winter because you could not stand the thought of a small bird facing the cold alone. None of that was wrong. Your care matters. But birds live in details. A dirty rim, a cloudy bath, a feeder too close to danger, a pile of wet seed under the tray, a cat allowed outside for only 10 minutes, a window that reflects one perfect patch of sky. To you, these may look small. To your birds, they can be the difference between trust and panic, between safety and sickness, between one more visit and no return. The beautiful truth is that your birds are not asking you to be perfect. They are asking you to notice. What this means for your yard is this: the relationship is real because your choices change their world. Every time you clean the bath, move the feeder, quiet the space, or throw away spoiled seed, you are answering them in the only language a yard understands. The birds in your yard are not begging you to stop caring. They are begging you to care more carefully. Tell me in the comments, what is one thing your birds do that made you realize they were paying attention to you? I read everyone. If this made you think of someone, share it with them or for them. And the next time you look out at your feeder, look for the small signs first. That is where your birds have been speaking all along. I'll see you in the next one.